So is your car supposed to function as giving air conditioning and heat into that?
No.
Yeah.
No.
You just keep it running.
No. Don't do that.
Well, that too.
You might die. All right, this is a Northeast Harbor, cheap as I could get, SUV tent. So I'm gonna open it up for the first time. I'm gonna be using it in a week's time or so. So I wanted to try and set it up before I needed it to see how hard it is to set up. Alright. Poles, maybe tent stakes. This is, I'm guessing, a Rainfly.
What year Bronco Sport is this, Jeffrey?
2022.
2022.
Badlands edition.
Oh, let's do a little quick Badlands. I'd help, but you gotta do this on your own when you go out there.
Little pins in the corner, just like I'm sure most tents
Oh yeah.
just kind of here. Should be able to bend it.
Old bendy. This is gonna be massive.
Yeah, I know.
How many people are supposed to sleep?
I think they say you can sleep like 6 or 8.
Dude, you got like a house. This is gonna be bigger than my living room. Uh-oh.
Until I break one of the plastic cords and the whole thing falls apart.
All right, one down.
It's gonna be this
Yellow.
That's all hot.
But the reason we're not helping Jeff out is he has to like do this by himself. Because he's gonna set it up by himself. What the hell is this?
I don't know. He's making a U-turn.
Oh my god.
What's this guy doing? It's fine, I'll get it.
We'll
All right,
trade. I'll
so-
hold the camera.
It looks like the center pole's gonna go into this little pocket. So I can put it here, run it across, and attach it to the other side.
makes
So I'm gonna try and do that.
All right, so you got it?
I don't want to force it.
I think you have to. There you go. Really good bend.
Don't move it. I'm doing it by myself.
Sorry. You got it, man. Just do it.
I'm gonna rip it. I don't want to rip it.
I'm not gonna rip it. It's made for
Shut up.
What do you want? I can't tell her where to pee.
It's so close. You got it, man. Don't stab
If
me.
I had it, it would be there, wouldn't it?
You're so close.
I know I'm close, but it's got to go into this little pocket, and it wants to close. No, I got it. You just set the camera down and let me work it out.
You got it. Oh, you got it. This looks good. This is good.
Open here.
Oh, zipper.
And then this
And this goes around the top.
top of the car. So the way it works, I think these bottom straps are supposed to like hook through your wheels, your spokes in the wheel. On the top, you can actually strap to your roof rack, or if you don't have a roof rack, I guess there's long enough pieces and take it all the way to the front of your car, but mine has a roof rack, so I don't have to worry about that.
So is your car supposed to function as giving air conditioning and heat into that?
No,
Yeah,
no,
you just keep it running.
no, don't do that.
Well, that too.
You might die. Supposed to be able to kind of leave it freestanding, so if I was gonna go somewhere and leave the tent standing up, I could disconnect from here, zip all this up, leave it as a freestanding tent because it'll be staked down. And then when I come back, I just need to make sure that I'm pretty close to where I parked the first time, and then I can reattach. So it's pretty good. I mean, this is giant. Obviously, for one person, this is like.
So you
overkill.
intend to sleep inside there?
So I'll fold those down, put my air mattress up and sleep in here, and then depending on the weather, I don't know if I'm gonna leave this open like this or if I'm gonna close this and just leave the tent by itself, and I'll take all the stuff that I bring with me, leave in the tent so I can have room to sleep in the back of the truck.
Oh, you gotta go right?
So that's the setup. I don't even remember what it's called anymore. North something Harbor.
It's a Northeast Harbor. Northeast Harbor model 558 SUV tank.
So it can be set up by one person. It's not easy to set up with one person, but
30
it can
minutes.
be done. And it's probably overkill for one person because you see it's like having a house. So I'll let you know how it works. This is obviously not a review because I've never used it before. So. But it's set up, all the pieces were together, all the pieces were present. I'm happy with it so far. We'll see how it goes. So we'll check back in. I hadn't put the rain fly on yet, so now I have the rain fly loosely attached. It's got little guy lines, as you can see, and all I did, there's little Velcro loop attachments that I've hooked up right now. This will attach at the bottom once it's staked in, and there's a little piece of Velcro on the little ridge to attach it to that ridge pole area. And then I think you just have to make sure on the back side of it to know how to orient it. There's a guy line in the middle of the back, so you can kind of stretch it out. But I just wanted to show you, and I did this also solo, so it can be done. As I said, it's not super easy, but it is doable. Okay, back here at our property. Just finished a 11-hour drive on about 3 hours of sleep, and it's dark, and now I need to set up my new tent for the second time. Hopefully I can remember how to do it. I don't think the camera's going to pick up much, but I'll see. And I don't have a ton of flat area to set it up. It's an SUV tent, so I got to kind of park along here. But I'm gonna get cracking because I need to get this stuff set up. I'll bring you back. Okay, so here's the tent mostly set up. I still have to do the stake it down. Gotta put the rain fly on because it is supposed to rain tomorrow pretty good. But just to show you a couple of the things. Obviously it's very roomy. Not a perfect setup because I don't really have a perfectly flat spot. Probably in the middle of the night that's gonna come back to haunt me. But one thing I want to show, this part can be zipped up so that if I need to take my car, which I will, I can disconnect that part of the tent, leave the tent freestanding, and when you're not using it, just roll it up. And it's got these little toggles and some anchor points here. These connected to so it stays out of the way. So pretty nice. Pretty happy with this so far. We'll see how it holds up. Okay, I got camp set up. Night was pretty good. It didn't get too cold. It was in the 40s, low 40s last night, but I had pretty good setup in there. I have my tarp set up over here so I can have a place to set up my table, my stove, because it is supposed to start raining pretty soon. I'm going to head out to get more supplies, but one of the features of this tent is to be able to disconnect and leave it freestanding. So that's what I've done. I'm a little concerned about my abilities to line it back up correctly when I get back, but we'll see how it goes. It's held up pretty well so far, but it hasn't really been tested, so we'll see. Okay, so for the Northeast Harbor tent, it's been a couple of nights now. It's worked pretty well. Last night was a really good rain. It was probably at least an inch that got dumped, and the tent did leak. You can tell where the rain fly is. This is the part that connects to your car. So this is only a single layer here, and the rain fly doesn't cover that. Now your hatch is going to cover most of that. It's going to stick all the way up to where the rain fly comes in. But as this gets soaked through, it does tend to leak inside the tent some. It's not terrible, but just something to be aware of. It was a pretty inexpensive tent compared to the other SUV tents that are out there. Like I said, I think it was like $150, $155 on Amazon, and a lot of the other ones were $300 and up. So you get what you pay for, but all in all, as far as setup goes, it wasn't too bad. Even by myself setting it up, it was a bit challenging, but doable, even in the dark. Pulling away from the tent and leaving it freestanding is a nice feature, so you can kind of go off on your little adventures and come back to all your stuff, hopefully, if it's still there. And I was able to back up to the tent at night in the dark and still line it up first try and be able to reconnect the hatch canopy here. So all in all, pretty happy with it. Definitely not top quality, but it held up pretty well. This is only one trip with it, so I don't know over time how it's going to hold. The rain fly on the back here does stick out over a little bit, but this section down here had water leaking in along that seam, probably because as it saturated through this material, the water was just soaking through. So it was just drips inside. It wasn't like pouring in there. And the nice thing about having an SUV tent is that I'm not sleeping in the tent. I was sleeping in the SUV. So even if it got water inside the tent, it really didn't ruin anything for me. So as a wrap up for this tent, it held up okay. Long term, I don't know. It's got the bathtub floor, and as the water leaked in along these seams here, it did pull up in the floor of the tent, so I had to kind of soak it up with a rag or a towel. I wish there was some more things to kind of hook things onto. There's one little pouch in the corner there, and then he's got these little kind of tie-offs so you can hook stuff to if you need to. But all in all, I do like the fact that The canopy where you connect to your car can seal up and it's standalone. That alone is a pretty nice feature, which you find, I'm sure, on all of these type of tents. So since I only plan on using it infrequently, I think it was a good purchase. If you're gonna car camp all the time, you might want to look for something a little higher quality, but suits my needs. I'll take it. So there you have it. The Northeast Harbor SUV tent, purchased on Amazon. If you're in the market for an inexpensive SUV tent, to give it a shot.